Hello everyone, today we are going to do day 2 of our Unit 2A on multi-step equations. So we're going to start multi-step equations and let's go ahead and get to it. Actually, sorry, before we get started, if you hear any crunching or anything in the background, that's my dog Porter with the bone. He won't be quiet, so we'll just carry on. So when we are solving multi-step equations, our goal is still to isolate our variable. We still want to isolate our variable, and we're going to use pretty much the same thing we did with two-step equations. We're going to use SAD-MAG still, but we have a couple extra steps we need to do first. So the steps for solving a multi-step equation are as follows. We distribute first, and that's two parts. So we're going to distribute anything that's on the left side of the equal sign, we'll go ahead and take care of, and then anything that's on the right side of the equal sign we'll take care of separately. We're going to do each side separately. We're not going to cross that equal sign at all yet. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is combine like terms. And just like with distribute, we're going to do one set at a time. So we're going to do combining like terms on the left side of the equal sign. And then we're going to combine like terms that are on the right side of the equal sign. We have not crossed over that equal sign at all yet. All we've done is simplify both sides of the equal sign. Now that both sides are simplified, we can employ SAD-MAG. Okay? Keep in mind that if you have to leave your answer as a fraction, or as an improper fraction, you don't want to, don't bother trying to convert it to a decimal. That's more work. Don't try to convert it to a mixed number. That's more work. An improper fraction is totally fine as long as it is, if it is fully simplified. Wow, that was hard to say. Make sure your fraction is fully simplified, and that's good enough for me. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. So example 1, we have to solve the equation and write our answer in step builder notation. We learned step builder last time. That's with the brace, the variable line, such that, and then your answer, basically. Okay? So on this side, the left side, there's nothing to distribute there, but there is on the right side. So I'm going to distribute that 3 to both the 4a and the negative 4 and do that multiplication. So now I have negative 12 equals 12a minus 12. There is nothing to combine on either side, so I can go straight into SAD-MAG. So I'm going to undo this minus 12 first, because SAD-MAG has to undo subtraction or addition first. And I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So what it comes out to be, negative 12 plus 12 gives me 0, and then the negative 12 plus 12 over here gives me 0, but those just basically cancel out. So now I have 0 equals 12a. I'm going to keep going with this equation until I get the variable by itself. I cannot make any judgments about the answer until the variable is by itself. Okay? So now I'm going to divide both sides by 12. And then I can undo. So these, the 12 divided by 12 will cancel out. 0 divided by 12 is just 0. So what I get is a equals 0. And that's my answer. I could always check my answer by plugging it back in to A to make sure it is correct. Okay? When I plug it back in for A and then simplify it, I should, if it's correct, it'll equal negative 12. If it equals something else, I made a mistake and I need to go check my answer again. Or check my work again. So now I need to write it in step builder notation, which just means I'm going to rewrite it. Instead of an x, I should have an a here. You should always use the variable that was given. Okay? I think I made this mistake on all of them. I just started using x. But it should be a such that a equals 0. Okay? And that would be my final answer. So now you guys are going to try this on your own. Pay attention to what you're multiplying by. Just going to say that. And then don't forget to check your work. You can always self-check to make sure you're correct by just going back and plugging it in. Okay? Example 2, solve the equation and write your answer in step builder notation. So this one, I don't have anything to distribute on this side. I don't have anything to distribute on this side. So now I look at combining. Here I have a 12n and a negative 5n, so I can combine those two. On the other side, I don't have anything with the 10, so I can't combine any like terms. So I'm going to combine 12n and negative 5n. I'm going to add those together, and I get 7n. And then the minus 4 I'm just going to bring down. So now all my combining's done. Now I can go ahead and use StatMake to solve it. So I'm going to first get rid of this minus 4, because then to do that I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Just use the inverse property to undo it. The negative 4 and the plus 4 will cancel out here, leaving 7n, and 10 plus 4 gives me 14. So now I'm going to get rid of the 7 by dividing both sides by 7. So the 7 divided by 7 will cancel out, leaving me with just n on this side. 4 divided by n, or divided by 7 will give me 2, so I get n equals 2 as my answer. So now to write it in step builder notation, I'm just going to fill in n's instead of x's and just write n equals 2 on the end. And that would be my final answer. Okay, not too complicated. So now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Make sure you check your answer. That's the best way to make sure you're right or not. Okay, and for example 3, you're going to put both together. So now we're going to do distributing and combining together. So the first step to do is to distribute this 4 to both. Ooh, why did I make one red and one not? That's weird. Interesting. So I'm going to distribute the negative b, or sorry, the 4 to the negative b and to the 3. So now I have 2b minus 4b plus 12 equals negative 5. So now I'm going to look to combine like terms. This side I don't have any like terms on the right, but I do on the left. I have a 2b and a negative 4b. Ooh, that just combined. Where? There it is. Why is it over there? And a negative 4b. So I combine those and I get negative 2b plus 12 equals negative 5. Now I can go ahead and use StatMake. So I'm going to subtract the 12 from both sides because I want to get rid of that first. The 12s will cancel out here, and this will become 17, negative 17. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and the 2 negative 2's will cancel out with the b, leaving me with just b. Negative 17 over negative 2 you can leave as an improper fraction, but you got to simplify it. You can always check to make sure it's fully simplified by putting it in the calculator, hitting enter, you get a decimal, convert that decimal to a fraction, it will always give you the simplest form. But here, to simplify, I'm just going to cancel out the negatives. So my answer is just, what did I write? Well, there. B equals 17 over 2, and then I write it in step builder, and that's my answer. Okay? And you totally can leave it as a fraction. So now you guys are going to try this on your own. Alright, proportion equations can show up sometimes. When proportion equations show up, they're going to look like this. Typically like a fraction equals a fraction. And to solve them, we actually use cross products. So what we do is we will multiply across and then set them equal to each other. So A times D will be equal to B times C. Okay? Here's an example. I'm going to go ahead and use cross products to figure out this missing x. So I'm going to multiply the 3 times the 16 and the x times the 4. So, and then I'm write it as an equation. So 4 times x equals 3 times 16. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and do that multiplication. So I get 4x equals 48. And now I'm going to solve for x. So here I'm going to divide both sides by 4 using the division property of equality. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually divide by 4. So 4 divided by 4, that just leaves me with 1x, or the 4's cancel out, however you want to think about it. And then 48 divided by 4 gives me 12, so x equals 12. And in step builder notation, you get x such that x equals 12, and that would be my final answer. And I know it's a correct answer because I'm going to plug it in and check it. Okay. So now you guys are going to try this this proportion on your own. Use cross products to solve it. All right. Finally, we're going to do cross multiplying with distribution. So this is actually the honors topic when you have to deal with the variable in the bottom, like this. Okay. But sometimes you will just have stuff like with the variable in the top, which is not an honors topic. So that you guys are going to try on your own. But we're going to do the one that's the honors topic together. Both ways, we're going to solve the same way. We're still going to use cross products, but now we're going to do 5 times the entirety of the denominator here. And then we're going to do the 6 times the entirety of the denominator here, which is just 10. So when I write this out, I'm doing 5 times that whole quantity. So that should be a clue that you're going to use parentheses. So we get 5 times x minus 6. And then is equal to 6 times 10. So now I'm going to multiply. And I'm just going to do 5 times the group again. X minus 6 equals 60. So now I'm going to have to distribute this 5 to everything inside the parentheses. So 5 times x and 5 times negative 6. 5 times x is just 5x, and 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, equals 60. Now I can use SADMAG. So first I'm going to add 30 to both sides. I end up getting 5x, where did I put it? Over here. I get 5x equals 90. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 5. The 5's will cancel out on the side with the x, and then just do 90 divided by 5. I get x equals 18. And I can check that answer by plugging it back in, making sure the two sides actually are equal, and if they are, that would be my final answer. The key concept when you're cross multiplying, just don't forget to distribute when necessary. So if there's more than one number on the denominator, you're going to have to distribute. Or more than one number on any denominator and numerator, you're going to have to distribute. Okay, so now you guys are going to try this one on your own. And that's it for the video. We will check the try on your owns next class. But yeah, that should be a quick check because you already know how to check your answer. Okay, I will see you guys next class. If you have any questions, write them down. But other than that, see you later.